I heard you're supposed to pee on your attacker.
You're supposed to pee on a jellyfish sting.
I think that there's overlap there. We're your hosts, Tara, Nora, and Allie, and you're listening to Bad Advice Only.
We're just three New York City rats talking about scurrying around the Big Apple. Here, we make the New York City mistakes so you don't have to.
We're begging you. Leave us a review and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bad Advice Only NYC. We release new episodes every Monday, so
Stay tuned, rats.
I think it's time for this week's
Rat dropping.
Should we have a rat dropping theme song?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
All right, everyone give your best shot for the theme song. It's a competition.
It's a rat dropping.
I think that wins.
New York City has a beloved creature.
Oh my God,
sadly,
it's the owl. It's the owl.
How did you know?
Did you hear us talking about it?
Of course I know
You
about
know
the
about
owl.
Flacco?
Tell it for the listeners, but yes, I know Flacco,
Well-
you morons. You thought I wouldn't know?
Well, do you know he died yesterday?
He hit a building.
You did know.
Of
I
course
am
knew.
shocked that you know this.
How'd
Tell
you
the
find
listeners
out?
who Flacco is.
You already derailed our story.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to do it where I pretend I don't know?
No, this is good. We need a raw, honest reaction. It's upsetting.
Just disappointing.
It's just disappointing because we thought maybe you'd be like, oh no, the bird died.
No.
So, unfortunately, listener, the beloved animal is not the New York City street rat, which I do hope it will be one day. But an owl escaped the New York Zoo. Mm-hmm. Really, there's a lot of question marks around that. And he's just been chilling in New York City for years.
He's free.
He's free. He flies around New York City. People post pictures of him whenever he lands, like on their fire escape.
And his name's Flacco.
His name's Flacco, and he's super cute. But unfortunately, tragic struck yesterday morning when Flacco flew into a building.
Upper West Side Story apartment complex. I urge everybody to read the NPR article because Tara and I, as sad as the story is, I could not stop laughing because it was like somebody had been murdered, like somebody that we knew, like a celebrity, where they're like, the findings are still unknown. Like, it's likely Flacco flew into a building in a window, but it could be an underlying issue. So he's been sent back to the Bronx Zoo for a necropsy. Like, it was so formally written.
Oh, he's having an autopsy for the
Necropsy.
owl? What's a necropsy?
I'm assuming for an animal, like an autopsy for an animal.
Oh.
I don't really understand why.
It's like a dead body,
Necrophilia.
Nope.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's like fucking a dead body.
I know what that is, but
Well, I'm just saying necro.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Nora somehow has Tourette's now and saying necrophilia.
No, yeah. I'm
said
really
necrophilia.
sad about Flacco. I did already know the news.
How'd
How'd
you
you find
know?
out?
I don't remember. I just know.
He died yesterday.
Well, I saw it somewhere. I really don't know where I saw it because I don't really use any news sources.
Did you kill Flacco?
No.
Like, is that why
Oh
you
my
know?
God. Nora's not going to make it to Japan. She's going to be brought in for questioning.
PETA's going to be on our ass because we're laughing about Flacco
You
dying.
know what my favorite part of the NPR story was? They were like, he was found face down in an apartment complex. Like, the way they wrote this article. Well, it's about an owl.
We've
It's funny.
said some pretty heinous things on this podcast, but I don't really care who comes after us, but Nora did just trigger me a little because PETA will come after us, and those are some thugs I don't want to fuck with.
Dump animal blood on me. What do I care?
Why is PETA coming after us? Because we're talking about necrophilia?
Yeah, we're gonna fuck Flacco. Dead corpse.
Who's
heard it here
fucking
first.
Flacco? Let's get this on record.
How would you fuck Flacco?
Actually, I've always wondered how birds bone, unlike the duck.
I've seen it.
And I saw it for the first time the other day, and I thought
heinous.
about recording it for the podcast.
What do they do? Like,
It's
peck?
so heinous.
It
They're like
looks like they're
flapping their
killing each
wings
other.
like so hard. Like
They're
they
face to face.
they
flapping
thrust
and
with the
they're
flap.
They're biting. They're like holding each other's beaks. I guess
really
to stay
gross.
connected.
You'd think that they would kind of reproduce in theory, like if science was smart, like moss. You know
Oh,
how
yeah,
moss
science
will
is
like
dumb.
spread, like they'll spread their seeds and it will flow through water to like impregnate another moss patch.
So I think we have a second shirt idea, and it's if science was smart. fucking moron.
Flacco, I'm sorry I didn't know who you were until I read about your death this morning and called you Flaco.
Flaco.
Yeah, Allie
Rest in bird heaven.
Allie kept calling him Flaco, and I just didn't correct her.
Guys, bird heaven sounds terrifying.
Bird heaven, they're just fucking each other.
So scared of
Flapping
bird
around. I guess we can segue to today's episode.
Should we take a segue?
I see what she did there. The topic is transportation in New York City.
I didn't catch
You
on
two
to
are
that.
fucking slow this morning.
I wasn't slow. I just wasn't responding.
So the topic today is New York City transportation.
I think we can just start off with some general thoughts.
I think every day about falling onto the subway tracks.
Me too. I'm so scared of being pushed.
I'm not scared. I'm more so like preparing myself and like coming to terms with my future.
Yeah, so we should explain that pushing is a thing in New York where someone will push a stranger into the subway tracks and they will get hit by a train.
Or slash them.
Right. But I'm talking about pushing, and I'm very afraid of it. And whenever I'm at the train, I'm always looking over my shoulder to see if there's anyone who I think might push.
How close are you standing to the edge of the platform?
Not close at all.
Some of the trains, there's really nowhere to stand except for right on the platform.
Yeah,
like
I guess
right
that's
there.
not true. I do like to tempt my fate. When I'm in Brooklyn, there's this one stop, and it's always so freaking crowded on the L. So I'll go...
Bedford, isn't it?
Yeah, fuck you,
Knew it.
Bedford. And I'll stand. You can go behind the stairs, kind of, but then that only gives you an extra maybe foot of room before the train comes. And that's where I hang out, because most people will leave you alone if you're hiding under stairwells. That's
Right.
a rat hack.
When you said you were waiting for your fate, you didn't specify pushing, nor were you trying to talk about jumping?
Look, I don't know what's going to happen in my future, guys. I
But
might
you can
fall.
control the jump.
I don't know. I might get dragged in by my fucking stupid dog.
If our dog girlfriend jumps into the subway, I will let her, like, I hope a brave stranger jumps in, because I will not.
So, okay, so this is how the pusher typically does it. They're timing it.
Have you seen it?
No, I've never seen it, but I've heard they time it for the train to come, so
Yeah,
that it will
that
hit you.
you cannot get back off the tracks.
Are they timing it in the sense that, like, they're just looking at the monitors that tell you the time? Because sometimes those are wrong.
No, they're watching for the train to come, and then they push an unsuspecting
Like, right when you see the
person.
headlight
Yeah.
coming through the tunnel and you know it's about to break.
I would not want to be pushed in front of a train, because sometimes you survive, and you're just, like, dying on the
Mangled.
track, mangled for, like, 2 hours, and then you're holding up traffic.
What would you like to be pushed in front of?
Pushed in front of...
What you just said.
I'm trying to think of what would, like, instantly kill me.
Yeah, anything instant death.
I've always thought about if somebody pushed me off the front of the ferry, would I get eaten by the motor?
Oh, motor death is definitely a fear. I'm really scared of boat motors.
Because those boats are like catamarans, so like if you go off the front, where's the propeller? Like I don't have enough time to hold my breath, go under, swim under the propeller. I'm gonna get chopped into itty bitty pieces.
So should we talk about the different categories of transportation?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go ahead and just start with the outermost where Allie just mentioned, the ferry.
Ugh.
And there's a lot of ferries. There's Staten Island ferry. There's the New York Waterway.
So
there's
I must say the ferry is too fucking expensive.
So
it's
expensive.
ridiculous. It's $9 one way.
agreed. Well, that's just it. Actually varies depending on where you're going. So that's just $9 from where I live.
It's way too expensive.
But
Fuck
the
ferry.
ride is less time than it is dollars. Like it's less minutes than it is dollars.
Oh
which is
yeah,
crazy
your
to me.
ride is only like 3 minutes
Also,
long.
What can the operating costs really be for the ferry? Like, I just don't believe that they need that much money from all of us.
Also, it's standing room only in the morning. You guys have never used it during commuting hours, but that thing gets packed. Like they're doing just fine.
yeah.
I also fantasize sometimes about those people working on the ferry, and here's why. Their
Like
job,
sexually?
you know, when you say fantasize, it doesn't always mean sexual. Most people will specify if it's sexual, and they say, I sexually fantasize or romantically fantasize. I just fantasize about their jobs, and I'm just like, they are standing on this boat day in and day out, not thinking about a goddamn thing, going back and forth following the same route. opening the gate, closing the gate, opening the gate.
Sometimes there's a wheelchair and they have to put out a special ramp.
Let me tell you think they weren't thinking when Sully landed that plane in the Hudson and they used one of the New York waterway ferries to go swoop people out.
Oh my God, can we please do an episode on that? The guy landing the plane, because I find it so hilarious.
But they had the New York waterway ferry that I take every day came and swooped up all the people on the wing.
Wow.
That's probably the only time they use their brain. But I love my ferrymen.
Yeah, just like sitting on a boat all day, going back and forth. Really, like, unless you have an idiot like trying to jump, you're not really doing much besides checking tickets.
They don't let you jump. I've gotten.
You've tried?
I haven't tried, but I've gotten close to the front.
They don't
Just
they don't like that.
They do not like it.
So there's the ferry.
All right, moving on. So we covered our ferries.
Ferries are just fine. Let's rank these. That's a
Oh,
bottom.
yeah,
a
bottom of the
tier
barrel.
transportation.
For me, it's number one. I'd rather take the ferry over any train.
So what about, what was the other one? Buses?
Oh, yeah. We love our
Tara and I
buses.
love the bus.
The rattiest thing about the two.
Rat hack, you just get on. You don't have to pay.
The bus is the rattiest form of transportation in the city. No one pays for the fucking bus.
It's dirty.
It's disgusting.
Whoa. It's way cleaner than the subway.
We'll get to the subway. It is way cleaner than the subway. The bus is fine.
It's still dirty.
The bus etiquette of this city is fucked. And I think it's because most of the people on the bus are like homeless or elderly or like...
Yeah, crazy. What I don't like about the bus, at least when I've gone in with the two of you, is because you have a very crowded bus.
It is very
Yeah,
And whenever I try to get off of it at your stop, there's 50 people standing front to back, not even sitting, just standing.
It's very hard to get off our bus.
It's the one time I'm my most vocal, I would say. Where one stop ahead is when I start prepping for the bows and elbowing people out of the way, saying, "Excuse me, I gotta get off, move." But I don't know which is worse, to be honest, trying to get off the bus through the people who are on the bus, or when the doors actually open and these fuck faces just merge into the bus and like swarm in as if they're running from goddamn zombies. They're like just swarming into the bus while I'm trying to get off the goddamn bus. So let's really quickly talk about some public transportation etiquette.
A PSA for buses and trains. When you reach a stop, any stop, not your stop, if you're standing, get off the bus. Get off the bus and stand aside and let everyone, so everyone who needs to get off can get off. If you're standing in the bus, you need to get off every time. That's a fact.
Yes.
Same with the train. You don't have to get off every time. But if you're blocking the door, you need to get off and wait to get back on until everyone gets off.
Yes.
Grow up, tourists.
I'm just thinking about the time that I used to take the 57th Street bus crosstown. And every day at 5 p.m., because it's not shut down like 14th Street is now, where it's just buses during commuting hour. Like 57th Street's like every mode of transportation, and so it gets stuck in so much traffic, and I'd be so hungry. I'd just be thinking of nomming people's arms off on the bus. I'd be like, take me home, I need to eat. And that's actually when I first started walking, because it was faster than taking the bus.
Sometimes I do beat the bus. Sometimes I'll be waiting for the bus, and then I'll be like, fuck this, it's not coming, and I'll walk my whole way to work, and the bus will be like trailing behind me every stop. It's very slow.
That's gotta make you feel good.
Yeah, I feel like a fast walker.
Yeah, my problem is I commute with my sister a lot of times to work.
Hey.
And we'll wait for the bus. And by the time I've gotten to the bus, something heinous has happened dealing with these fucking psychopaths that live in New York. And by then I'm just so beaten down that I just can't imagine walking to work after that. I'd rather risk my chances and get on the bus and deal with more idiots.
Well, I think we can talk about walking as a mode of transportation, because I know that you've been sexually harassed while walking. Some homeless guy came up one time and grabbed my titty while I was walking home.
Yep. One guy pretended to do like a boxing thing to my face once.
Oh, I remember that. You were really upset about that.
Yeah, it was weird.
So I've seen some pretty gross things on the bus.
Like what?
Well, one of the most disturbing, and I find this disturbing in general, when men spit, period, just like on the street, on the sidewalk.
Or anybody.
Anyone spitting, I really dislike, and it happens more than you'd think.
I've done it before.
Me too.
Oh my God, I've never done that. So anyway, one time I saw a man standing on the bus, and he just spit onto the floor of the bus.
Ew.
Was he hawking a loogie or just spit?
He hopped a loogie and spit it onto
So
the floor,
fucked
which
up.
I already find so disgusting when people do it on the sidewalk, but the bus? Why do you have to spit at all? I don't need to spit.
The only times I've spit, well, one time I was partaking in illicit things, and it was during COVID, so I was wearing a mask too.
No.
And I was really, really drunk, and I started dry heaving walking home at 3 a.m. And so I hate to be the contributor of like vomit on the streets and things like that, but yeah, I just kept dry heaving, so I finally spit on the sidewalk at like 3 in the morning.
I don't want to brag, but I've lived here 11 years, and I've never thrown up on the sidewalk.
Have I?
I don't know your life.
I threw up a little bit in my mouth at a rave once, but I kept it together.
I mean, I've thrown up in a lot of bars, but never the sidewalk.
I've almost shit myself on the sidewalk.
Same. My God.
Okay, but are we almosting or have we?
The only thing that I've ever done was when I walked with you home from that bar when you first moved to the city, and I had a tampon in for like 11 hours, and I was so scared I was gonna get toxic shock syndrome, and I had like an hour-long commute back to wherever I think I was living in Queens,
yeah.
and I reached down in the middle of the street at like 1 a.m. and I ripped my
Plucked it
tampon out in public, and I just
Dropped
threw it on
it
the
in the
street.
street.
Oh, you didn't throw it away.
There was some trash
You know,
can.
I see a weird amount of used.
I think Allie's lying. I think
I didn't
There's
see
plenty of trash
I
cans.
didn't see one trash can.
This is the first time Allie and I hung out.
You're like, this bitch is
And
gonna
I
be
was
my best
like,
friend.
I get it. I get it. I too have ripped tampons out of me.
I just didn't want toxic shock syndrome.
I get that. I respect that. I think all women should resort to pulling out tampons in public to
Rather
avoid.
than die.
Yeah, totally.
I could feel it coming to my kidneys.
When I was in high school, and this is regretful, I'm not proud of it, but when I was in high school,
I know this story.
used to, when I was driving, just rip my tampon out and throw it out the window.
Oh my god!
I know, and I'm sorry. I don't feel good about
on
it.
the highway. Mm-hmm. Oh no!
Wish I hadn't. I'm doing my preemptive apology to the public. Like,
You probably
I
killed
do
somebody.
regret it.
What if you killed somebody?
I don't think I killed anyone, but it is gross, and I did litter.
Did you kill Flacco by throwing a dirty tampon out of a
Flacco,
building?
actually, the narcolepsy autopsy will show that
Narcolepsy.
Flacco died via tampon.
Be like, in a stunning turn of events, this rare owl ate a used tampon.
Back to our filthy
Transportation.
public transit.
So what other gross things have you seen on the bus? Have you seen, like, is it as bad as the subway? Like, have you seen people shitting or people, like, pants down on the bus?
No, the
No.
subway really, we got to
Subway
end on
takes-
the subway,
yeah,
because
Subway
subway
takes
takes
the
the
cake.
fucking cake of crazy
But
shit.
on the bus, it's bottle people are on the bus a lot
Yeah.
of times. Listener, go back to our previous episode. It's called "Who Are the Bottle People?" and you'll learn more about that. So they're already bringing
Trash.
literal trash, filthy trash into this small space where people are commuting.
What are your thoughts on people talking to you on the bus that you don't know?
Don't like it.
I'm about to lose it. Let's talk about
We're not
that.
on the bus. Bring it back.
So
Reel it in.
the problem with having a dog, let alone a fucking cute dog, everyone wants to talk to
Humble
me.
brag.
Yeah.
Humble brag. She is.
She's
Someone
very
told me
cute.
she looked like she was $1 million dog and thought I bought her from a breeder. She came from Mexico. So people try to talk to me on the bus and it really pisses me off. But what makes me more angry than that, there's always someone who chooses to sit either next to me or behind me. They're always overweight. Yes, I'm fat shaming. And they are screaming on the phone.
Yeah, I hate people on the phone.
Screaming
What
on
does
the
the
phone.
weight have to do with the screaming on the phone?
I think
are you painting a picture or like does it bother you?
I'm painting a picture. But yeah, I do think that I have theories on size. The smaller the woman, the crazier the bitch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. The tinier you are, you're just like a fun size psychopath.
Why are you looking in my eye? You're looking at me.
Allie's 5'2" listener, so she says. She's probably
and
more
you
like
get-
4'8".
Yeah, you're closer to 4'8", and
But
you're
my doctor would identify me as mildly obese. So
Oh
what's
my
the other range?
and then yeah, the bigger you are, you tend to be louder.
But I'm also loud. So I call
I'm
me in
gonna
the
have
middle.
to cut all of this.
theory-
Fat shaming's way too hot of a topic. I can't.
Anyway, these fat people are loud on the phone and it pisses you off.
People on the phone really fucking piss me
Yeah,
off
on
on
the
the
bus.
bus. They're so loud. Half the time they're using speakerphone instead of their.
Well, that's the thing. I don't like when people are
Headphones.
on their phones, literally watching videos as loud as possible
my
on their phone.
God,
No one
that's
wants to see
annoying.
it. Put your headphones in.
my
If
God.
you don't have headphones, wait.
Then
That's
wait.
also another important topic that people do on public transit. They bring like actual speakers
Yeah.
and are just blasting music.
It's time to talk about trains. The fucking subway. Where to start?
There's just too many. I mean, I always feel scared on the subway. I've had so many horrible things happen on the subway, which you two know is why I walk.
Let's paint a picture of how you get to the subway, you enter it.
I don't think that's very interesting.
Really, you're always stepping over a homeless person or physical shit. One time I stepped over a dead pigeon on the stairs.
Yeah. There's a lot of homeless people in the subways. That's just fine by me.
What about the dead pigeon? No
I've
one has-
never witnessed a dead pigeon.
was right by
I've
my house.
witnessed
There are
a lot
some
of
subway-
shit.
there's-
People shit on the walls of the subway.
Yeah, there's
and I don't
shit on
like
the
that.
walls. There's dead rats. There's live rats.
There's a lot
What
of rats.
subways are you guys entering?
You don't take the subway, so you don't really get
I
it.
used to take the subway all the time, but I never had shit on the walls.
Oh my
there's
god,
shit
there's
on the
shit
walls.
I will
on
say
the walls.
there are some subway stations that have like speakeasies in them now.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
hate that.
that's-
There's also one with a restaurant. I
That's
don't want to
I've
drink
eaten
or
in those
eat.
subway restaurants.
Disgusting.
Ew, that is
Save that for
very
the next
gross.
episode.
It was fine. Did not get the runs.
Also, the subway costs
$2.90
now, which is so outrageous.
Heinous.
And it's
Who
hard,
can afford that?
It's harder to skip the fare on the subway. You can still do it though.
You can. Sometimes homeless people will hold the door open for you, so everyone just runs through,
Yeah, I
and then
do like
you
that.
can tip them without
For their
paying the-
services.
You know, every day you guys are like, you have to move back to New York. It's a beautiful city. There's nothing like it. This, I miss nothing about. The worst thing that's ever happened to me on the ferry is one time an autistic kid sat on my lap, and then
a kid with autism. You want to try it again?
I don't think that's
would-
going to play no matter how she says it.
anyway,
someone with a
sometimes
disability.
a kid sat on my lap and wouldn't move, and I had to keep like inching away, but he would just kind of somehow keep sitting on me. And this kid was like 14. It wasn't like a
You're
child.
literally going to go to jail. You can't.
I was
child.
already sitting. He sat on top of me, and then I tried to move, and he kept sitting on me. I realized later there
Tell it
was
to the judge.
an issue mentally.
There are some fucking freaks out there that try to touch women on the subway, and they'll like jerk off on the subway and try to touch women, especially if it's crowded.
Men and women, or just men, are doing this.
I haven't encountered any women jerking off on subways, but I am equal opportunist, so sure, get your clit, ladies.
Personally, I don't think that the people trying to touch people on the subway and the people who are jerking off on the subway are the same that's not the same perpetrator. The people jerking off, they're usually in their corner, they're on their own, they're not really looking at anyone. They're just like looking down, jerking off, and they have a flaccid penis.
So those are normally
And they're
the ones
fine.
that are like very mentally ill, sadly, typically homeless. And yes, that's what they're doing, whatever. No, there are people that like when it's a really crowded subway will like get up on you and like rub themselves on you. Yeah. So what would y'all have done in this scenario? Some guy just sits down like almost directly in your lap.
I would have been like, you interested in
A
handy?
handy. Yeah.
Oh, y'all would offer hand
Yeah,
jobs.
because I think it's a power thing. So if you just proactively are like, you want some of this, I think it'll spook them.
Or I'd be like, and try
Yeah,
to
be
chop
like-
his dick off.
Be like, you want a blowy? Nom, nom, nom.
Nom, 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 nom. I do wonder about trying those approaches.
Like, I've always thought if someone's chasing me down the street, we all know I can't run. I would just fall over and be like, take me. See what happens.
What
They
if
don't
you
want
just-
it. They want the chase. They want the fear.
Right. I heard you're supposed to pee on your attacker.
And you're supposed to pee on a jellyfish sting.
I think that there's overlap there.
Why are you supposed to pee on your attacker?
I don't know.
Most people don't enjoy urine.
Back
on
to
them.
people jerking off on the train.
Okay.
It happens more than the tourist would think.
Have
Have you done it?
No, but I've witnessed it at
Oh, yeah.
least like 30-ish times
Totally.
in my 11 years, like a pretty good amount. And one time I went and this is like a New York rule. If the train car is empty, like
Don't
there's something
get
wrong with it.
Yeah,
on it.
someone's
Don't
peed in
get
it.
on
Yeah.
their
It
shit.
smells.
There's a crazy
something's
person.
in
There's
it.
someone asleep. It smells
Someone's
like
wielding
dick.
a knife.
Yeah.
Anywho, one time I got on a train and I didn't notice that my whole side of the train was empty. So I just sit down and I'm like, why is everyone standing on the other side of the train? And then I look next to me in the corner. He's like, I could touch him so close. And there's a man just with his dick out and he's just jerking off his flaccid dick as they always do. And I was like, you know what? He's harmless. Like he's not that close.
Did you sit and watch? Like, were you
I
just
didn't
watching?
watch. I just was like, you know what? I don't want to offend him. I'll just sit here and I was sort of like maybe he'll finish. I don't know. He did not, but I did ride my whole train ride like right next to him. Harmless. Nothing happened.
Sure.
I feel like obviously people pee, jerk off, a lot of shitting on the subway, like more shitting on the subway than not. I feel like Tara and I, though, have seen a lot more like dead people. I remember this so vividly. I was stuck at some station in Midtown. We were stuck there for so long and everyone's like, what's going on? What's going on? They're not like giving any announcements, but they haven't opened the doors. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, at the next stop, there's like a really serious medical emergency. So we've been delayed, but we're going to pull in and we just ask that everybody like leave immediately from the station. I'm like, not weird at all. This sounds like a normal morning in New York City.
And New Yorkers are so great at listening.
We pull into like Columbus Circle or something. And I get out of the subway, bless you, and there's a train across the platform that's literally just standing there like still. Doors are wide open. There's literally a body face down with like 5 cops around it.
Oh no.
That's how I started my morning.
Wait, in the tracks or on the
No, it was
platform?
like in the car of the subway.
Ooh, yeah, people die on trains. It's
Yeah,
quite
I've
sad.
seen a lot of medical emergencies on trains. There was a woman having a seizure when I was taking a train out to Queens. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on.
I mean, it's a stressful environment.
That's why I don't take the train. I don't like being stuck in there. I saw somebody get in a fist fight and physically pushed off the train. There was that time I had to walk the tracks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had to walk the tracks. What about this? Okay, so let's talk about Showtime.
Oh, I actually enjoy the showtimes. Unless I'm in a bad mood.
I like doing the showtime.
So what's the showtime, Tara, for the listener?
Okay, so typically when a train pulls into one of its stops, people get off and then people get on. And unfortunately, sometimes people get on with very loud music and they immediately
What do they say?
Showtime, Showtime, Showtime.
And these aren't the people that are like one-off like singers that are trying to like promote their band or like, you know, just
No, this
get
is their
some money.
like full-time gig.
They're
And
like
they've got good moves. They do dances.
acrobatics. It's very impressive.
They're basically pole dancing. Let's get real. It's men typically, and they're quite strong young men.
Yep.
And
they're pole dancing.
They are literally pole dancing on
Sometimes
the
they
train
take their
poles.
shirt off, like
Yeah, they'll
Magic
take their
Mike.
shirt off. They'll do little flips on the upper poles.
Yeah, so there's poles in the ceiling for the taller individuals that can hold on to, but then yeah, these folks do their pole dancing up there too. But okay, I have no problem with the Showtime people. What I do have a problem with is their timing. Why the fuck are they getting on these trains at prime time?
Oh, you're talking about
commuter
commuting
hour?
time. I thought you meant like their timing with the music was off.
I really don't mind them at all. I do think there's probably some like times people have been kicked in the face that we just haven't heard about because it's quite dangerous.
Okay, I have a story.
Okay.
I used to volunteer in Washington Heights, and it's a really long train ride. And I would leave work at 5 o'clock to go and volunteer, which is a very busy time to commute. And our trains would always be jam-packed, standing room only, and a Showtime guy comes on. And he's alone. Normally there's at least
there's
like
usually
3.
a group.
Yeah, there's normally a group. This guy is just like solo artist.
Oh, he was practicing, you think?
Maybe. And everyone is like, no. Everyone just like, absolutely not. It is 5:05. We can't even stand ourselves without breathing in the other
Did they like
person's
boo him
breath.
off?
We tried.
I've never seen that before.
And this guy so one man in particular, he's like standing there and he goes, absolutely not today. And the guy is still trying it and he has no room and he's trying to do his break dance and then jump on a thing. And so he's holding the poles floating and he's got his feet up and he goes, I will kick you in the face, motherfucker.
That's showmanship, baby.
Showbiz.
This
Showbiz.
solo artist had places to be. He really was going to make it, he thought. And he got rejected. Everyone on the bus was like, or the train was like, boo, get the fuck off. And I was like, yeah, get him off, get him off.
I find it quite funny, the whole just interaction with the Showtime people, because everyone who's like a New Yorker is just fully ignoring them as they do this song and dance on the poles.
Yep.
I always had my headphones in full blast so
And you
that
just
I wasn't
stare ahead, because if you look, you have to give them money.
Yeah, and I just didn't want to be like accountable in a court of law for anything because people would say the craziest shit. They'd be like, "Hi, my name's Robert, and I
God,
got
this
my
is different.
arm like sawed off last night, and my child tried to reconnect it, and then my child died, and I'm here collecting money."
This is not the Showtime people. This is just people who come on the train and they make sort of like an announcement.
Yeah.
But I do the same thing with them that I do with the Showtime
Yeah, I
people.
just stare ahead.
I heard this rumor one time, and I don't know if it's true. This isn't even people in the actual subway cars, but just the subway stations that perform music that are actually really good.
Yep.
I heard there was like some sort of underground subway like record label, or not even like a record label, but like an auditioning company that would like say whether or not you can like play down there. Like you can't freely play down there.
You
No.
aren't supposed to freely
There's
play
no way
down
that's
there.
true. I've heard some absolutely terrible artists down there.
That's true.
Like
too.
that one guy that when we were on the subway that sang me happy birthday.
Tiffany. We can
definitely post that video. This guy thought
That
my
guy's
name.
still kicking. He has an Instagram.
I know, I've seen him around.
So going back to Allie's comment on the headphones, I get why you're doing it, to tune people out, not like give anyone attention, but I'm too scared. I only wear one headphone because all of these fancy new headphones are noise canceling, and I'm way too scared that someone's gonna come like snatch me.
That's true, because that happened to me on my walk down to work the other morning. Somebody came after me and they were like, "Fuck you, bitch, I'll cut you." And I didn't hear them. And I turned around, they were chasing me, and I was like, "Arr!" And then I like ran to work and I called you and I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I'm way too scared, so I just pretend that I'm deaf in one ear.
That's
And-
smart.
yeah.
Do you do a voice?
Sign language.
Oh, so a voice with your hands.
Yes, I talk with my hands.
Nice.
I know how to say sorry in ASL.
Well,
Don't just
I
rub
know.
your titties.
I know how to say Hitler thanks to this podcast.
Oh yeah.
I know how to say, "Put your hand in my vagina, I will be your friend."
What?
Should we?
Can get a video of
She
that.
just did that as she was saying it, listener. What the fuck?
Or you could do, "Put your hot dog in my vagina.
Why do you know
I will
this?
be your friend." Because for some reason I learned this song that was like, "Put your hand in my hand, I will be your friend." For some reason when I was little, and then I learned vagina, and then I learned hot dog separately, and I thought that's a funny phrase.
That's ridiculous. I've never seen her do that trick before. I've got a random thought, which is that I hate when tourists come and visit me. Like when my friends
Your friends.
come.
Your friends.
Sorry.
I hate when my
out of
friends-
towners come and visit me and they're like, "It's so hard to get around here." And I'm like, what could be easier than stepping outside of your apartment, raising your hand, and a car stopping for you? Like, what the fuck are you? We have the best transportation in America. Like, shut up.
You wanna talk about
pickup
top
truck
transportation?
driving piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm with you. Fuck the tourists. Fuck our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. This is a great city for transportation. Did we just describe people spitting and shitting all over? Yes.
I would take it any
I would
day.
take a shitty, spitty train,
I'll shit on a train in support.
right? Over driving an hour and a half through cornfields.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck
you
them
guys.
cornfields.
All right. Well, that's what we have about transportation.
Guys, I feel great after this. We really got to just air all of our...
Yeah, I feel good. I
Grievances.
feel better.
I've never felt lighter. As always, thanks for listening. If you're interested in even more bad advice, scurry on over to Instagram and TikTok at Bad Advice Only NYC. We're begging you. Download and rate the show and leave us a review. Talk to you next Monday.
Stay tuned, rats.